day, the deity says to Sanatana, give me a little bit of salt. Sanatana Goswami says to Madan, he says, today you want salt? Just a little salt, that's all. Tomorrow you will ask for ghee, salt. And then the day after that it'll be sabji, salt. And then you'll want sweet, salt. And then you'll want a temple, salt. And all of these things, and how will I get any writing done? Give me a little bit of salt. Mahaprabhu has instructed me to writing. You want me to engage in all this service? Just a little salt, that's all. So in this way, there was this little debate. Now, of course, Krishna arranges things according to his own desire. And what happened was that there was one Krishna Das Kapoor. Krishna Das Kapoor was a big merchant. He was actually a salt merchant, funny enough. And he had a boat that was going down the Jamuna to go to Delhi to sell his wares. So somehow or another, it was low tide or whatever, he got stuck on a sandbar. So he got off the boat and came into the village of Vrindavan. Now remember, back then everything was still very, very much different than what we know Vrindavan to be now. So he found Sanatana there in his hut. And he said, my dear Goswami, he said, please give me your blessings. Please get my boat free. Please bless me that the boat will come loose so I can continue on with my journey. So Sanatana Goswami said to him, he said, excuse me, I just lost my place. Yeah. So he said to him, he said, you're asking things I don't know anything about. He said, you go and talk to Madan Mohan. He knows all about these things. So Krishnadas Kapoor went to Madan Mohan and he prayed. He said, please let my boat be free. Let me continue with, and if I'm successful, I will return and give you a big donation. So Krishna arranged that the monsoon seasons were coming. And it rained and rained and rained and rained and rained and rained so much that the Jamuna rose. The boat was loosened from the sandbar, and he continued on down. So Krishnadas Kapoor went to Delhi, sold all of his salt, made a huge big profit, came back, and gave very generous donation for the building of the Madan Mohan temple that is there in Vrindavan. There was another time when Sanatana Goswami was desiring, he was just writing and not paying any attention. People often tried to, let us build you a hut, let us make some arrangement for you in this way. And he was not interested. He was not interested at all. He had no fixed resident, like all the Goswamis that were staying there at that time. He had no fixed resident. And simply carrying a water pot, wearing some coal pin like this, going in this way. So one of the places around Govardhan that he would stay was Chakratirtha. Chakratirtha is near Manasi Gangi. Manasi Gangi is a place where the Ganga appeared from the mind of the Lord. And so there's a place there called Chakratirtha. It's the residence of Lord Shiva. And Chakratirtha means Lord Shiva who protects Govardhan, like that. So Sanatana was living there, and he was writing there, but the problem was the mosquitoes were very, very bad. Now, Lord Shiva is the predominating deity there, and he was enjoying very much, relishing having Sanatana Goswami staying there and writing in this way. But these mosquitoes were really causing a disturbance to Sanatana. It's not like he just went inside and closed the screen door, turned on the air conditioner, put on the ceiling fan. No, he was living out under a tree, at the root of a tree, or sleeping here or there, or just writing like this. So in this way, he decided, okay, I'm going to have to leave this place. I can't stay here anymore. How can I stay here? There's so much difficulty. So Lord Shiva appeared to him and said, no, you please stay. Instead, I will make all the mosquitoes go. So to this day, they say that in Chakaleshwar, Tirtha, Chakaleshwar, that there are no mosquitoes. So a very, very wonderful arrangement like that. So, now this is at a time also when Sanatana was getting quite elderly. And he was circumambulating Govardhan Hill. I believe it was twice a day. Anyway, Govardhan Hill is a 14-mile diameter all the way around. And he was going like this. A very old man. This was taking him almost all day. And he wasn't able to get much of his writing done. And it was a very strenuous task for such an elderly person. So one day a little cowherd boy appeared to him. And the cowherd boy climbed up on the hill and got a stone and put his foot on the stone. And then he gave that to Sanatana. He said, here, he said, you are too old now. There's no need for you to trouble yourself any longer in this way. He said, I'm giving you this hill, the stone from Govardhan Hill. You simply circumambulate this stone, and that is as good as if you have circumambulated the entire Govardhan Hill itself. So then the little boy disappeared. So Sanatana Goswami had this stone, and he can understand this was Krishna had appeared to him in the form of a cowherd boy. And so in this way he had this Govardhan Shila that Krishna had put his foot on, and in this way he was saved from that necessity of having to go around like that all the time. There's another occasion where Sanatana Goswami was staying at the Pavana Sarovara Ghat. Pavana Sarovara, for our friend here, Uddhava is our tech man today. Uddhava, he's shaking his head when I mention Pavana Sarovara. Pavana Sarovara is a very, very wonderful place. This is the ghat where the cooking water would be collected for cooking by Mother Jasoda for Krishna. Very, very peaceful. If you go to Vrindavan, most of the bathing ghats and all, they have some bit of algae or something growing. Pavana Sarovar, if you take a bottle of Pavana Sarovar, it's very, very clear. Very, very clear. So, Sanatana Goswami was living at Pavana Sarovar in a small little cottage there. And he, one time, cowherd boy came to him there. And the cowherd boy said that, sorry, I got my stories a little mixed up here. It was actually when he was there that Rupa Goswami was also there, and Rupa had invited Sanatana to come one day. He said, "You please come. I've prepared some nice sweet rice for you." And he had wanted to prepare the sweet rice, but Rupa, like Sanatana's living under a tree, and what could he do? How is he going to arrange like this and that? So what he did was he arranged that. In his mind, he really wanted to do this. So a young girl came, a little cowherd girl, came to Rupa and brought some milk and some sugar and some ghee and all like that. And said, the sadhu, we have just had some big festival, and so the ladies have asked me to come and bring these ingredients to you. Certainly, you can use them. So in this way, he prepared all the sweet rice. And then Sanatana came, and Sanatana found that when he tasted the sweet rice, it was the most amazing sweet rice he'd ever tasted. It mentioned that actual waves of ecstasy began to manifest on his body. So he suspected that something was unusual about the sweet rice. So he inquired from Rupa. He said, "Where did you get this sweet rice?" And Rupa said, "Oh, some little cowherd girl came, and she gave some charitable donation, some festival they'd had in their village like that." So Sanatana immediately realized that this had been Srimati Radharani. And he said to Rupa, he said, "You have accepted the service of Srimati Radharani." He said, "Now we have both accepted that by taking the sweet rices." So in the future, he very strictly forbade Rupa Goswami to take such gifts. There's another time mentioned that when Sanatana Goswami was here again, he was sitting and doing his bhajan, and Krishna came in the form of a cowherd boy, and he said, "Sadhu," he said, "I see that you're not eating, you're fasting." Sanatana said, "How do you know that I'm fasting?" Of course, Krishna is the super soul in the heart of all living entities. He said, "How do you know that I'm fasting?" He said, "Well, the villagers, they came and they saw that you were for several days, and they said to me, so they've given me this pot of milk to bring to you." So Sanatana said, "Why have you brought this pot of milk for me?" He said, "Because we want everyone that's in our village here, everyone eats properly. No one should fast. So, well, why didn't they just come themselves? Why did they send you?" He said, "Oh," he said, they were a little busy. They just told me to go ahead and bring it to you like that." So he said, "All right, well, listen, you sit right down here. I'll just put this pot of milk over here, and then I'll give you the pot back." So as he turned to set it down, he turned back around, and the little cowherd boy was gone. And then it said he realized that this was Krishna, who would come in the form of a cowherd boy to bring him this milk so he could maintain himself very nicely like that. One of the most famous stories about Sanatana Goswami starts actually not with Sanatana Goswami, but with one follower of Lord Shiva, and his name is Jivana Chakravarti. And Jivana Chakravarti worshipped Lord Shiva very, very faithfully for a very long time for the purpose of getting wealth. He wanted to become a very wealthy man. It's generally known that the worship of Lord Shiva can bring one wealth. So in this way, he was worshiping actually for quite some period of time. And so then Lord Shiva appeared to him in a dream. Excuse me. Lord Shiva appeared to him in a dream, and he said to him, he said that if you want real wealth, he said, you leave Benares, because this devotee was worshiping him there in Benares. He said, you leave Benares, and you go to Vrindavan, and you seek out Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami, he can give you the wealth that you're looking for. So this poor Brahmin, Jivana Chakravarti, thought, all right, well, my Ishtadev, Shiva has told me to do this, so I will go. So he made the journey to Vrindavan, and he arrived in Vrindavan, and he sought out Sanatana Goswami. Now the thing is, when he found Sanatana Goswami, he was a little surprised, because he figured, okay, if I'm going to go to someone who's going to give me great wealth, then he's going to live in a big palace, he's going to have lots of servants, he's going to dress very nicely, like that. So he found Sanatana Goswami, but he found this very thin person just in a ragged loincloth, living in a bare hut of some sort. And he thought, oh, this doesn't seem right. Anyway, Lord Shiva has instructed me to do like this. So he went before him. He said, my dear Goswami, he said, Lord Shiva has instructed me that I should come to you because you have the greatest wealth and you can share that wealth with me. And Sanatana Goswami said, what are you talking about? He said, you see, I've got this dirty, torn loincloth. I subsist on a few crumbs of bread that I beg from door to door. What wealth do I have that I can give to you? So the man, he was very disappointed, and he started to turn away, thinking that maybe he had misunderstood the message Lord Shiva had given him. And after a second of thought, Sanatana said, actually, no, wait. I do have this touchstone. Someone left it here, gave it to me or something. But anyway, I have a touchstone. You can have that. And the man's eyes brightened up. A touchstone? Because the nature of a touchstone is just that. You touch it and ask for anything and it manifests. So he said, yes, I'll take that. He said, it's over there in the trash pile. Just over there where I throw all the garbage. It's in there somewhere. You can find it and keep it. So the man thought, so he went over, and sure enough, he found the touchstone, as it's called. In the West, they call it a philosopher's stone. But it gives anything you desire. So, cleaned it off a little bit, put it in his pocket. He was thinking, oh, this is so wonderful. I've got this most valuable gift. Now I'll become the wealthiest man like I've always wanted to. And he was walking away from Sanatana's little area, his hut, thinking this way. And he stopped. He said, no, wait a minute. If he's giving me this, that means he has something much more valuable. He's just getting this disguise of living in this poor condition just to trick people to not think he's got something valuable. So he went back to him. And he said, my dear sir, he said, I feel that if you're giving me this so easily, you have something much more valuable than this. Sanatana Goswami looked up from his writing. He said, yes, that is true. I have something much more valuable than that. Will you give me that? Sanatana said, yes. But before I give it to you, you have to take that touchstone and throw it into the Jamuna. So the man thought for a moment. All right, so he threw it into the Jamuna. And then he sat down, and Sanatana Goswami instructed him in the science of Krishna consciousness, in the science of devotional service, in the process of becoming a devotee of Krishna. So in this way, the man went from desiring the greatest in material wealth to actually obtaining the greatest in spiritual wealth, Krishna Prema. We were speaking tonight, the story of Sanatana Goswami is found predominantly in two places, and that would be the Chaitanya Charitamrita, because in the Madhya Lila there's an entire volume that describes the instructions that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Sanatana Goswami. Bhakti Ratnakara also has quite a bit of information about his life, and then Prem Vilas also has some third source of information. So I believe all three of those books are available from Krishna.com. Those of you that are tuned in means that you know where Krishna.com is, so you simply go to their store and you can find those different books there. Well, we'll finish for tonight then, and I thank all of you for joining us for another night in the lives of the Vaishnava Charyas. Hare Krishna.